Quantum entanglement is the quantum mechanical phenomenon in which the quantum states of two or more objects are described with reference to each other, even though the individual objects may be spatially separate. This leads to correlations between observable physical properties of the separated systems. Think of you, yourself, or your life as a single bubble of air that eventually bursts. That air will dissipate, not disappear, and may become part of another bubble at another time. In the period between bubbles, you are the air of potential. From this analogy, we can take it that a bubble represents our conscious or sentient limited life and span in terms of time. When we are the bubble, conscious/sentient life, we are amongst an almost infinite amount of other bubbles that are both compact and loosely connected together. We are touching other bubbles and are seemingly distant from others, although still indirectly connected, and thus what we think, do, feel, how we act and interact has a bearing on all other bubbles. For bubbles, time as a concept has no meaning or reference. Accordingly, a seemingly non-existent bubble can have a bearing/effect on a seemingly existent bubble. After all, as we suggested earlier, when your bubble bursts, the air inside your bubble does not disappear, and it is not destroyed. It becomes one with the air surrounding other bubbles. You cannot have an inside of a bubble without an outside of a bubble. Inside and outside coexist through a very thin membrane of consciousness or life, as some like to call it. The capacity of the inner part of a bubble is finite, whereas the outer part is infinite, both coexisting. One does not exist without the other. Outside the bubble is perceivable chaos, with the inside of the bubble perceivable order, or so it goes. We can also consider the point that all bubbles reflect in themselves all other bubbles, and the air space between them, as our bubble or inner world, is reflected through all other bubbles ad infinitum. Whilst most of the time we are all consumed and caught up with the inner workings of our own singular bubble, and from time to time we can get a glimpse of the outer workings of the infinite and chaotic other bubbles or spaces, for most this experience of the outer bubble comes in the form of either daydreams or sleeping dreams. Some people experience aspects of it through various forms or types of meditation or holistic disciplines. It is in these states of meditation or dreaming and other altered states we can, with practice, influence our inner worlds and possibly the inner worlds of others. When you experience the outer world, you are also observing other inner worlds, but to get to the outer world requires you to enter via your own inner world. After all, to go out, you first have to go in or be in somewhere. Dreams, as an example, provide you with access to other possible inner worlds, and therefore, in accordance with our bubble theory, our possible experiences of other inner worlds we are connected with or somehow drawn to. When we are in a dream state, you for the most part forget this. Your dream state, inner world, becomes or is your reality. Similarly with meditation or other holistic disciplines, the idea or intention is to switch yourself off from the persona you manifest and associate with in this reality. You drop or forget your egoic mind, so to speak, or at least that is the idea. In the dream and dreamlike states, you disassociate from the current self, which allows you to travel or journey to other realms and experiences, being other personas or things. Very often, in dream time, you can be another persona and also be an object observer of the persona that you experience. You can be in two places at the same time, in the same manner or way that many religious, spiritual, and now specific traditions describe their God to be. This is often now described or referred to as quantum entanglement. God illusions. Therefore, it is you who in dream is acting out as a persona, but yet you can objectively observe this person outside of the persona. Aren't you therefore quantified in certain arenas as being God, or as quantum physicists say, the quantum phenomenon, or a/the God particle? This idea that you may be or are a god or represent a part which is representative of the whole flies in the face of organised religion and to a great extent its modern equivalent, organised statism. But modern science, as in quantum physics or mechanics, seems on the face of it to be telling us exactly this, as are a great many ancient Eastern texts. The science of nonsense. Contemporary science would have you believe that time is linear, as in, time is running in a straight line from past to present to future. This is a convenient mix of ignorance and nonsense, in that it makes no sense at all. The linear theory acts as a convenient way to control a lot of people. If you explain something with a certain degree of surface logic, it can be neatly put away, boxed off, so to speak, never to be thought about or discussed again. Linear time theory is a logical fallacy, but is often delivered as an undisputed fact or law. The study of quantum mechanics has directly challenged the validity of linear time, in that time and the observance of event was directly affected by the observer of those events. Equally, the Big Bang theory and the Bible version of creation are pretty much on the same page, and point to the same thing. Chapter ends. Comment. This chapter was penned prior to any voyages with entheogens. The chapter in retrospect is included in this text because it relates very neatly to some of the writer's experiences with medicine plants and some of the knowledge gained from such adventures. So there.